Welcome to another property podcast with the Remax Coastal. It's the November edition, and this month we get to know Louis Du Preez of Remax Coastal. Louis, welcome to eRadio.
Thank you, Ian. Lovely to be on your show.
Great to have you, Louis. Louis, tell us, how long have you been doing what you are doing?
Ian, I've been in Sedgefield since 2016, so I've just celebrated my 5th anniversary with Remax here on the garden route, specifically in Sedgefield. But yeah, we also do working the greater garden route, so I'm a specialist for this area. Yeah, 5 years has gone really quickly. I suppose when you are always busy, days become minutes and minutes become seconds. Yeah.
Absolutely, especially if you're enjoying what you're doing, and you are enjoying what you're doing. I mean, have you always been in the property game or not?
I think it's always been a sideline passion of mine, Ian. Just giving some thought to this podcast. As a child, I used to sit and draw plans of houses, not knowing what I was doing, but I was sitting there and I was designing homes from a very young age. Never became an architect, but I've always been interested in property. Came back from the UK in 2010 and then embarked on being a trainee property developer with my partner. And then we moved down to the Eastern Cape and slowly found our way into the garden route. So property has always been something that I've been interested in. When we were property developers, I was the person who was the go-to with the agents and with marketing. So I suppose that's where I also was able to put the finer finesse to what I am today.
Now, Louis, what would you say is the nicest part of your job? Is it working with the people, or is it checking out beautiful houses with beautiful views? Or is it all of the above?
All of the above and more. You know, when you're going to have a look at a property, you're obviously understanding what the property has to offer, and you do the valuation for the client, who then becomes the seller if they proceed to wanting to put the property into the market. Yeah? And while you're there, you obviously, in the back of your mind, you're thinking who this property might fit on your client database. So yeah, you're wearing two gloves. On the one side, you're very much involved with assisting an owner to put their property into the market. One's becoming creative with how one will go ahead with marketing the property, and of course, then the excitement of taking people to view the property, and if they do, of course, fall in love with it, that's just the cherry on the cake. And then, of course, all the hard work starts with trying to get this through for both purchaser and seller as amicably and as smoothly as possible. So there's always the dance, and there's always the other hat that one wears. But yeah, I love what I do. It comes with, as it does with any profession in any industry, it always has its element of stress. But you just ground yourself and you work as openly as you can with your clients, and hopefully it will all just be a smooth transition. Yeah.
Yeah. And Louis, what would you say is the hardest part of your job? Things that we don't see, things that we don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of back of house emphasis from the moment that you get the call from an owner who wants to put the property into the market. That's an emotional decision from the aspect of the home owner. And I always say to the clients, we're going to go through the veils of emotion and stress, because it's one thing to say that you're wanting to possibly put your property into the market, to then making the conscious decision and commitment to putting your property in the market. And as I'm going through, a transaction this week where the property's been in the market for 2 weeks, and the sellers thought they might, or the owners thought this would be their last Christmas and New Year with their family from abroad at their house here in Sedgefield. And 2 weeks later, I've taken them an offer and they need to be out on the 1st of December.
Wow.
So you're walking the walk on both purchaser and seller side, because there's very different emotions involved, isn't there? You've just got to keep the lid on the pot for everybody. And, I am the facilitator between seller and purchaser. And you just got to make sure that the people that you get involved to support you through the transaction are the correct people, because that takes a lot of the pressure off everybody. We all know optimum communication is absolutely paramount in everyday life, not only in the business aspect.
Yeah. Absolutely. I also believe in optimum communication, so important in all kinds of relationships. Moving on, Louis, with the year now almost, there's almost nothing left of 2022. With you looking back at 2022 now, how would you say the year went for the property market, and specifically in your area, Sedgefield?
And if we turn the clock back to when COVID was announced, we all sort of stood there like rabbits in the headlights and wondered, is the world come tumbling down around us? And I have to say that Remax was phenomenal with how they just stepped in from the very first day that the announcement was made. And we had lots of Zoom meetings and training sessions, and we all had to start learning to work remotely from home. And if you look at how the traction from that moment when the announcement was made, we were just incredibly busy in that period of time. Remax kept us so busy that I don't even really recall that hard lockdown. I didn't have time to even clean my windows.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful for that, because it gave me the tools to go forward. So if you go back to when COVID happened to where we are at the end of 2022, there's just been the absolute mind shift of people in general, young, old, people in high positions professionally, who've taken on that approach of, we need to live life today, and today is today, and who knows what will happen tomorrow. And then businesses giving their employees and senior management the opportunity of working remotely. And I think that where the changes happen is that people have embraced the now, they've embraced the day, and said, well, let's get on with it, because we're not necessarily happy with living in the cities. Let's look and see what the opportunities are with semigrating into pockets of South Africa where lifestyle, safety, leisure, security are still paramount, as we have. And we're blessed down here on the Garden Route to have that opportunity of still living that lifestyle. And so people have embraced that, and people have taken that and have turned it into a positive. So the property market has been incredibly active ever since we went into hard lockdown. And I've been fortunate enough that I've been very much a busy bee here in Sedgefield. And year on year, since COVID, I've just sold more property every year on year. For the last 3 years, I've been the Garden Route Eastern Cape #1 sales producer. For this year, I think I can't remember when Remax sent their mid-year figures out, I was in the top 100 of Remax South African agents.
Wow.
So coming from Sedgefield, that's not a bad place to be pitching yourself at. And for now, properties just for this year to date, for little Sedgefield, I've sold 27 properties.
Whoa.
I've generated close to 70 million rand in sales. 70 million rand from Sedgefield alone is
wow.
It's quite a number to digest.
Yeah.
And I can see the people that we're attracting to the Garden Route with this emigration. As I said earlier, it's not only the older generation who are taking early retirement or have sold their businesses and decided that they want to move down here. It's the younger generation who not necessarily even have children yet, or have got kids that are in junior school. And we've got such good schools down here. And it's all about safety, security, and lifestyle. I always say to people, it's like how the older generation grew up, like I did in the Eastern Free State. The village that I grew up in there was my playground. And that's how I see children here now. They just have that opportunity, which is so rare, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So, with the pandemic came semi-migration, as we call it. Lots of families moving from Gauteng to the garden route for better living quality. And, so that's still happening. It wasn't just during the pandemic. People are still semi-migrating down to the area. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, we definitely are still in that whole frame of being. And it's not only from Gauteng, I mean, I say to people, it's from Knysna, all the 360 back to Sedgefield, taking in the eastern, northern, western hemispheres, well, not the eastern hemisphere, but taking in all the countries, and then every province in South Africa. We're just attracting people from everywhere, all walks of life, all cultures and nationalities, really. People in Europe are fed up with how, what's happening in Europe and the UK. And there are guys that are coming back to South Africa thinking that the grass was green on the other side. And clearly it's not. I think that we still have a fantastic country. We have an awesome garden route lifestyle here. And we're still attracting from everywhere.
Louis, looking at your current listings, what have you got for us for your current listings at the moment? If you just can give us like your top 2 or top 3 that you're selling at the moment.
I'm very fortunate in that I have quite a broad spectrum of property on my portfolio. So I have property from 2 million up to 11 million. So it just depends on what a person's budget is as to what property I can offer them. And I think in our office we're very fortunate that we do hold the larger segment of the marketplace in Sedgefield with regards to properties on our portfolio. So each property has its own uniqueness. I can't say to you that the 11 million rand, because that obviously offers a totally different package to what a 2.5 million does, but the 2.5 million home is as beautiful for that price range, if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, it does. And also with the new homeowners, especially the younger generation, are you seeing that they're coming with an off-the-grid approach, like installing solar and all that kind of stuff, getting rid of Eskom? Are you seeing an increase in solar?
Absolutely. I mean, every second person that you speak to now is going off-grid or wanting to go off-grid. Certainly people who can afford, I think a basic off-the-grid solar system with inverters and batteries is about 150,000. So that is quite a substantial chunk of one's budget that you need to take into consideration. And obviously the more you add to it, the more expensive it becomes. But people are very conscious of that. People are very conscious of energy saving, water saving, running their grey water out into the garden instead of it going down the sewage. So there's a great consciousness specifically in this area because you're making that change in yourself as well to what one's accustomed to with being on the treadmill with only working. You're taking in your surrounds are being taken into consideration as the individual and the being. And so people are very for that and favorable of assisting where they can for themselves and for the grid,
I like that. That's a very nice mindset and approach, and I'm glad to see that it's on the increase. Louis, it was very nice chatting to you today here on the Property Podcast. And how do we get in touch with you, and also how do we see your listings?
Ian, I as I said earlier, I work in Sedgefield, so I fall under Remax Lakes. Of course, I'm also all my properties are listed under Remax Coastal. So my mobile number to get hold of me directly is 082 39 00272. And my email address is louis@remaxlakes.co.za. One word, Remax Lakes. Yeah, and I'm always there. All my properties are listed on, the various websites, Property 24, Remax South Africa, Remax International, as well as Remax Coastal and private property.
Great stuff. Louis Du Preez, it was nice chatting to you today, and congratulations on all your achievements, and I hope that 2023 will be just as good, even better for you.
Thank you, Jan. You know what they say in life, perseverance creates consistency, isn't it?
That's it. That should be our motto. Yes.
Yeah. Great
yes
chatting with you.
And
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Take care.